Okay, so today we're going to be thinking about what you would need to be a British soldier, or a soldier of the Britons, I suppose, more accurately. We're going to use evidence we've had, we're going to use some persuasive language, and we're going to use some rhetorical questions. So think back to the last lesson. What happened after the Romans left? Why did the Anglo-Saxons end up invading? So, according to Gildas, the Britons fought to stop the Angles and Saxons from taking over areas of Britain. He writes about a great leader called Ambrosius Aurelianus, who helped pull the disorganized Britons together to fight against the invaders. This guy actually is one of the people who some people think might be one of the origins of the King Arthur legend, interestingly. So what makes a good leader? What sort of person might he have been? I guess somebody who can unite people, because it wasn't one king of the whole of Britain. There were lots of different tribes and leaders. Somebody who's got some good ideas, somebody who can deliver victories, all those kinds of things. A battle at Baden. It's difficult to know exactly what happened at this time in history. As we said in the last lesson, there aren't many written texts, and we've not found that much archaeological evidence. We've got information from Gildas and the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle that suggests that by around 500 AD, Ambrosius Aurelianus and other leaders were successfully driving the Saxons back. The Battle of Baden Hill is said to have happened around AD 500. In it, the Britons are thought to have defeated Saxon troops. We don't know much about the battle though. We're not even sure where it was fought. Gildas and the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, both this guy and that document were written a long time after these things happened. So we don't know how accurate they are. Some people think that the Battle of Baden Hill may have happened at an old fort on Liddington Hill, which I think I've been to, although I didn't know that it was a proposed battle site. Why is there little evidence for battles, and what would an archaeologist look for to find out if a battle took place on this hill? Have a little think and I'll tell you my ideas. So, at this time, when people were fighting battles, they were fighting with foot swords and spears and things like that, which were quite valuable. So they wouldn't have left them around after the battle, and if anybody had died, then their weapons would have been taken as well, either by the victors or by the losers who managed to salvage them. And they wouldn't leave the bodies just lying around on the battlefield. They would have taken them away to be buried or whatever. So you wouldn't find very much. Maybe some arrowheads is something you could look for. Maybe bits of clothing, but this battlefield was in use for kind of a day, 1,500 years ago. So the chances of finding very much left behind are really small. It would have all been kind of cleared away after the battle, so very little would have been left behind, especially after 1,500 years. What we're going to do is we're going to imagine we are part of the worried Britons from that time. I want you to design a poster advertising for someone to come and fight with the Britons in the battle with the Saxons. We need a title, a picture of a good soldier, and some sentences or a sentence describing what the soldier will need to do. We're going to need rhetorical questions and flattery. Now, I designed this poster, but this was when the Britons were fighting against the Picts with the Saxons. So if you look at my poster, it says, Britons need you. Got a rhetorical question. Are you ready to fight with the Picts and the Scots? Here. Be the best, slogan there. Since the Romans have left, we're almost defenceless. We need your help urgently. Do you have what it takes to join Vortigern in the army of the Britons? You must be skilled with the sword and axe and be ready to fight alongside our Saxon allies. Contact Vortigern. Now, your poster, we're fighting against the Saxons. Since the Saxons came to help us, we're now worried that they're trying to take over. We're not fighting Picts and Scots anymore, we're fighting Saxons. So your poster is not going to be exactly the same as mine. Think about what's going to be different on yours to what's on mine. And then in your books or on a plain piece of paper, draw your poster. So in the end, the Britons didn't manage to keep the Angles and the Saxons back for very long. By AD 540, Gildas, again, I think he was a monk, Gildas. A lot of people who wrote in those days were monks. Wrote a text called On the Ruin and Conquest of Britain, which describes how eventually Britain fell to the invaders. From the title, how do you think he felt about the invaders? The ruin and conquest. It sounds like he wasn't very happy about it. What about the ordinary people? Would they have the same opinion? Well, I guess some people would, because the Saxons would have taken their land and things. But perhaps, after all, the Saxons did end up, and the Angles did end up offering some protection from the other invaders. We do know, eventually they became part of the British people. So we'll find out more about the Angles and Saxons, and the Anglo-Saxons, should I say, in the next lesson. I'm looking forward to seeing some posters. Bye.